Yo, you never really win, so you must become a winner amongst winners. Let me say that again. You never really win, so you must become a winner amongst winners. Some of you can already assume what it means, but for short and for really just example, let's say you start making $10,000 a month. Well, now you're competing with every other guy that's making $10,000 a month. You start making $100,000 a month. Now you're competing with guys that are also making $100,000 a month. Now you're making $1 million a month. Well, now you're also competing with guys making $1 million a month. You get to $10 million a month. You get to $100 million a month. Yeah, you might be like, who's making? Yeah, there's guys out there making $100 million a month, right? You get to $1 billion. Now you're competing with every other guys that is making $1 billion. Right now, that may not be per month, but per year or every 2 years, whatever the case, right? So that's essentially the topic of this video is you never really become a winner, but you have to become a winner amongst the other winners, right? And I'm mainly speaking to the guys because a lot of you guys think, oh yeah, I just need the money, or I just need the fitness, or I just need to look good. No, you once you start to look good, you start competing with every other guy that quote unquote look good, right? Once you have a good physique, a good aesthetic, you start to compete with every other guy that has a good physique, that has a good aesthetic. Once you start to dress better. Now, with fashion, obviously, if you're street fashion, if you're more formal, if you're more business, if you're more fancy, whatever your style is, now you compete with every other guy at that level. But when you become well-rounded, your fashion is on point, or your style, right? Not fashion, but your style is on point. Your physique is on point. You're making more than the average person. Now you can start to say, okay, now you stand out. Now you're not just a fitness guy that looks good. Now you're not just a guy who knows how to dress. Now you're not just a guy who makes X, Y, and Z money. Now you can start to outcompete in different realms, right? So this brings to the point where, or this brings up a good point where everything worth doing is hard. And the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, right? The greater the hardship, right? So, what does this mean? The bigger the target you're shooting for, right? $1,000 for some of you that are not from the U.S. $10,000 per month, $100,000 per month, $1 million per month, right? Whatever that goal is, understand that the bigger that target, the more far away it is. Well, guess what? The harder it's gonna be to get to it, and the more work you're gonna have to do. For example, me and my client, we just hopped off a call. Well, client slash business partner, and we're getting ready for a presentation that we're gonna be doing on next week. Now, this presentation, obviously, we have to put a lot of marketing behind it, whether it's ad money, content, etc. And just from how I'm looking at it right now, we might push the launch date a little bit, just a smidge. I don't want to push it, but if we have to, we will. Just because I understand that editors might take a little bit longer to get back to us for the videos. We can start with the ads for the graphic ads where it's just an image with text, but in terms of the video ads, those might take a little bit longer to produce and then to put it out there and then to start advertising it. So I just feel as if we're going to push the launch date back a couple of days. Regardless, not going to talk about that, but what I am talking about is this. We are tapping into this industry and we understand that we do have an advantage, right? He has a lot of connections with a lot of celebrities, and he's also been in rooms with a lot of celebrities. I've been in rooms with a few celebrities, but he's been with way more celebrities, obviously. He's 47, so he's built his career for the most part. He's built his income. He's built his status. And he understands that. And I had to break that down to him. I'm like, look, we have an advantage. You know, you're the advantage, right? Every other people in this space, yeah, they do this, yeah, they do that, but they're not you, and they don't have what you have. They also don't come from where you've come. They don't have the same story as you. And so with him more or less being the face and me more or less being the skeleton, and we also have a few other team members, a few other coaches on the team, a few other marketers on the team, a few other, like we could say copywriters, etc. Like we have that, but I understand that me and him were more or less the content creators, right? Like we really understand the game of content, at least more than everybody else on the team. So that gives us an advantage, right? Where I've been in the content space for 6 years now. He's been in movies, so he understands that side of content. He understands the production side, and he also has a podcast, which has, about a 250,000 subscribers across all his channels. Plus, he has, millions of views. Just last week, or even a week and a half ago, he uploaded a video that my team re-edited for him, and that video did over 1 million views across all 3 platforms. And by 3 platforms, I mean YouTube, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Now, he also posts on Snapchat, but I don't think he uploaded it on Snapchat. He also posts on a lot of different platforms. But as you can imagine, it's performing, right? Why is it performing? Because we understand what to do. We have the formula. We know what we're doing. But a lot of times you just got to let things play out, right? Even though we're doing this launch next week, my expectations aren't high for the launch, because I understand that when we do the second launch, when we do the third launch, that's when things are going to really be on point, right? Our product is going to be better. Our marketing is going to be more on point. We're going to have more case studies to leverage in our marketing, right? And so it's really, really having these things in place, because we're shooting for a big target, right? By next year, we're shooting for a big target. And as time goes by, that target is only going to increase, right? So this goes back to the same quote. So I understand that I've been working with him since February. So I understand that I had to do a lot of work to get us to this launch date. And we've pushed this launch date back quite a bit of time, like at least 4 or 5 times now. And we might even be pushing it back again, right? Just because of advertising and getting the content and getting the editors to do their job. And, I know I'm going on a bit of a rant, but the number one thing I despise is when people take longer than they need to just to get something done, just because they don't want to get to it right now, or because blah blah blah, I have so much on my plate. Like, something that could take you a week, you could probably get it done today, but you want it to take a whole week, so you're gonna take a whole week just to do it, right? Like, it's like this quote that I've always said, like, money loves speed, and the faster that you can act and get something out of the way, well, guess what? The quicker the money could come. That's not saying you're trying to get rich quick, right? Like, I recently heard somebody say this: getting rich is easy. Getting rich quick is possible. Getting rich easy is where people get it confused, right? Like, people confuse getting rich quick with getting rich easy. You could get rich quick, but getting rich easy is not so easy, right? Now, obviously, before I continue with the video, we could acknowledge the fit a little bit, right? We've got the black shirt, we've got the blue tinted sunglasses, we got I'll say it's a royal blue suit, but not too blue. It's a little bit faded blue. And then we've got the blue face wash, brown leather. It's pretty clean. You can wear this fit with the same colored pants as the suit. You could wear it with black. You could wear it with white. You could wear it with tan. You could wear it with gray, dark metal gray as well. But yeah, so let's continue. So why is the topic, you will never really win, so you must become a winner amongst winners, right? Everything worth doing is hard, and the more worth doing it is, the harder it is. The greater the payoff, the greater the hardship, right? So me and my client / partner, we understand that there's a big payoff in a few years with this product, with this project that we're working on. We also understand that, or at least I understand it more. I see the potential. I understand the potential. I understand the entire structure. I understand the entire build out. I understand the entire loadout per se, right? Of what it's going to take for us to get to each stage, from 10,000 to 100,000 to 1,000,000 to 10 million, right? Because I've seen those numbers. I've seen them. I've seen the work. I've seen the projects take place. Obviously, like most people, their goals are for, a year, 2 years, 3 years. For me, I've mapped out an entire 20 years. Now, the 20 years isn't this only thing. Like, I've got a few different things mapped out in those 20 years, right? And as the years go by, I'm going to tackle let's say one chess piece at a time, one number target at a time. And then we can launch this thing, and then we can launch this project, and then we can start working on this. We can start doing this, right? Because I understand that the further out you can plan and map out, obviously the more money you're going to make, right? Because most people, they're only plan for the next 6 months or the next week. All right, like, oh, the next paycheck. Oh, the next paycheck. And then some people, it's okay, 6 months, right? Like, I want to get to X, Y, and Z in 6 months. Some people, it's okay, I want to get to X, Y, and Z in 3 years. Some people, it's I want to get here in 10 years. And then the reason I picked 20 is because I'm more or less modeling Patrick Bet-David. He had a 20-year plan, and he exited for like more than $250 million because of his 20-year plan, right? Now he owns a massive house and he's living next to like this dude is neighbors with Messi, right? His kids, all like think about that. But now obviously he started this plan when he was like 29, right? And for me, it's not the same plan, so it's not like I'm copying his plan. But I understood that everything that he did, more or less, I'm trying to do the same thing, right? Like, and I'm not gonna go into detail because obviously, if any of you are still watching the video, you're probably trying to, oh, what is your plan? Blah blah blah. Like, no, my plan isn't the exact same, but I understand that a lot of what he wants to do is a lot of what I want to do, but different spaces, different country, different areas, stuff like that. But you know, I know I've sidetracked a little bit and I went off topic a little bit, but understand that the bigger your targets, right, the more competitive it's going to be and the longer it's going to take to achieve them, as long as you're staying consistent. Now, when you're, when you're trying to become exceptional, when you're trying to become a winner, understand that at every stage, you're going to be competing with those people that have been at that stage longer than you, right? So this is a thing that Patrick Bet-David also says. He's like, once you get to the next level, you're starting at zero. You get to the next level, you're starting at zero. You get to the next level, you're starting at zero, right? Again, you make your first $10,000 month, great. Can you do it another month? Can you do it for another year? Right? Make $10,000 a month for another year. Okay, if you're not gonna stay at $10,000 a month, you get to 20. Now you're competing with everybody at 20. You get to 30. You're competing with everybody at 30. So it doesn't get easier. You just get stronger, right? You just get more skills. You just get more talented or more effective or more efficient, right? Because not everybody can get to those levels and stay at those levels. Not everybody can get to their first $10,000 a month and stay there and be profitable, right? Because some people, they might get there, but they're spending all their money, right? Some people are there and they don't have that much expense because of the business model that they're in, right? Or whatever it is that they're choosing to do. And so, once you're at this stage or whatever stage you're at right now, understand that you're competing with everybody else at that stage. It's like, this is actually a funny thing to mention, but it's like if you get a girl and you work at McDonald's, well, guess what? You're competing with every other guy that works at McDonald's, right? Or now let's say you're the guy who works at JP Morgan, right? Chase, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? That's your level, right? So now you're competing with all those guys at that level, right? And I know the quote might not make entirely sense. For some reason, I keep losing my train of thought in this video. But I hope you guys can understand what I'm trying to say. Every time you get to the next level, whatever level you're at right now, you're competing with every other guy who's at that level for the same things, for the same house, for the same car, for maybe the same girl or the same caliber of girl or the same type of girl, right? So understand that it doesn't get easier. You're just going to get stronger, right? And every time you get to the next level, you're starting from zero. And so you got to keep going so that you can become a winner amongst winners, right? Because again, you never really win. You never, yay, I made it to the finish line. There is no finish line. You just got to keep playing the game. And then you got to play the game until you die, right? Because the game never ends. Some families, they pass that down to their families. They pass it down to their son. And then their son passes it down to the next son. And then it just keeps going because you got to keep it going to the, like, you got to understand why a lot of these major families, the reason they stay in power or the reason they can keep their wealth is because whoever did it first, they documented the not even the process. There's just a mentality that they instilled into their next children. And they have, don't get it wrong, they have multiple children so that in case one of the kids goes into the wrong path, well, guess what? One of them can actually take it down and pass it to their kid. Because a lot of times most people are like, oh yeah, by the third generation, the wealth is gone. Yeah, the wealth is gone if you don't instill the right mentality, right? You have to instill the right mentality. And then they have to instill the right mentality. And then they have, like, it just keeps going, right? And the further it goes down, the stronger that family gets. Now, obviously, that power can always die. It takes one person to completely destroy the empire, right? But I'm going on to a different topic and onto different points. But understand that, going back to the main topic of this video, for anybody that's still watching, it's in your best interest to level up and keep leveling up, because nobody else is going to do it for you, right? So I think that's a good place to wrap this video up. So I'll speak to you guys on the next one. Make sure to hit that subscribe. This video was a little bit all over the place, but I hope you guys could understand the point that I was trying to make. I'll probably expand on it in a future video. See you guys on the next one.